The moment I walked through my front door holding my 1-year-old daughter, my entire world shattered into pieces. My husband Bradley did not even greet me before throwing a medical document onto the table. He looked at me with pure disgust and declared that the DNA results proved the little girl was not his child. His mother Beverly immediately pointed toward the exit and shouted for me to leave her sight forever. Only hours earlier, I was completing my final administrative tasks at Fort Liberty after weeks of grueling military training. As a dedicated Army officer, I was exhausted but incredibly eager to reunite with my family in Raleigh. I picked up my daughter Natalie from daycare, watching her smile as I secured her into the car seat. I truly believed that my return home would bring us closer together after months of distant phone calls. When I pulled into our driveway, the sight of multiple family vehicles made me think they were throwing a surprise celebration for my homecoming. Instead, the atmosphere inside the living room was thick with a chilling silence that made my skin crawl. Every relative sat shoulder to shoulder, staring at my military uniform with open hostility while Bradley stood rigidly by the fireplace. Nobody offered a greeting or even looked at the baby. Before I could defend my honor against their cruel words, the heavy front door swung open once again. General Logan Vance stepped into the crowded room, his 3 stars gleaming under the bright hallway lights. His commanding presence immediately forced the entire room into a breathless silence as he evaluated the hostile scene. He looked at my tearful daughter and asked if his finest captain was experiencing a crisis. Bradley attempted to dismiss the situation as a private family matter, but the general calmly stepped closer to the table. General Vance picked up the fraudulent medical document, adjusting his glasses to read the details with a practiced military precision. He questioned Bradley about the specific laboratory used and whether proper legal custody chains were maintained during the collection. The complete lack of verified evidence quickly became obvious to everyone present. The general looked at the silent relatives and stated that a printed sheet of paper from an unaccredited source did not constitute proof. He advised me to take my daughter and leave the toxic environment immediately to ensure our safety. Walking out of that house alongside a high-ranking commander shifted my despair into a quiet determination. I was no longer fleeing in disgrace, because an honorable leader believed in my innocence. As I struggled to secure Natalie in her seat with trembling hands, General Vance handed me a business card. He urged me to contact an exceptional family attorney who frequently assisted military personnel. I drove through the dark night to the home of Tabitha, a trusted friend from my officer candidate school days. Tabitha welcomed us without a single judgmental question, offering a safe place to rest our heads. The following morning, I returned to the empty house to gather basic necessities while Bradley was away at his office. While packing clothes in the bedroom, I noticed the personal computer of my husband was left unlocked on the desk. A sudden notification from a woman named Cassidy flashed across the screen, boasting that their plan had succeeded perfectly. My heart stopped as I began reading the hidden messages. The digital trail revealed a calculated conspiracy that had been orchestrated weeks before my return from duty. Bradley and Cassidy had deliberately fabricated the DNA document to humiliate me and force me out of the property. They even discussed selling the family home and assumed my military pride would prevent me from fighting back. I used my phone to photograph every single conversation as vital proof for the future. My search deepened when I discovered a hidden financial folder containing recent bank statements from our joint account. Over $40,000 had been systematically drained from our family savings in a series of small, calculated transfers. Bradley had moved our emergency funds and the future education fund of Natalie into a secret account. He was preparing a divorce strategy while I was away serving the nation. Beverly unexpectedly arrived at the house just as I finished gathering the evidence, demanding that I leave immediately. I looked at her with complete calm and stated that the truth would eventually reveal itself before walking past her. That afternoon, I presented the photographs and financial documents to Savannah Brooks, a highly experienced legal professional. Savannah analyzed the files and confirmed that my husband had committed blatant financial fraud. Savannah initiated immediate legal proceedings and scheduled an official DNA test through a fully accredited county laboratory. Bradley and his mother arrived at the clinic with an air of unearned confidence, refusing to make eye contact with me. The clinical technician carefully collected samples from Natalie, Bradley, and myself under strict legal supervision. I maintained my composure throughout the process, knowing that verified facts would soon destroy their elaborate lies. 3 days later, Savannah requested my presence at her office to deliver the official scientific results. She opened the sealed envelope with a smile, revealing that the probability of paternity was 99%. Tears of profound relief washed down my face because the official record finally validated my absolute fidelity. Bradley received the identical documentation that afternoon, but he stubbornly claimed the medical facility had made an error. The extended family quickly learned the authentic results, causing a massive wave of regret among the relatives. The sister of Bradley called me to apologize for her silence, admitting she saw him burn evidence in the fireplace. Soon after, Cassidy herself called my phone, weeping as she explained that Bradley had lied about our separation. Cassidy turned over additional text messages where Bradley openly admitted to creating the fake paternity test. Our final divorce hearing took place in the county courthouse during the beautiful month of September. Savannah presented the mountain of undeniable evidence, from the secret bank transactions to the explicit text confessions. The judge reviewed the files with an expression of severe disapproval, questioning Bradley about his deliberate deception. Bradley lowered his head in silence as his legal representative abandoned any attempt to defend the fraud. The court granted me primary physical custody of Natalie, while Bradley received strictly supervised visitation rights. The judge ordered the immediate return of the stolen $40,000 to ensure the financial security of my daughter. Bradley was also penalized with the full cost of my legal expenses due to his malicious actions. As we exited the courtroom, I realized this victory was entirely about protecting the future of my child. Several months passed before Beverly unexpectedly appeared on the front porch of the home of Tabitha. The arrogant woman who had previously banished me now looked fragile and heavy with genuine sorrow. She presented a beautifully hand-knitted blanket that belonged to the grandmother of Bradley, asking for an opportunity to know her granddaughter. I chose to allow supervised visits, refusing to let past hatred poison the heart of my daughter. 1 year later, I received an official promotion to major while surrounded by true friends and my thriving daughter. Bradley is slowly rebuilding his bond with Natalie through counseling, and peace has finally returned to our lives. The greatest triumph of this painful journey was not winning the legal battle or recovering the stolen money. The true victory was choosing integrity over bitterness and proving that light will always expose the darkest lies.